I'm Jay.
And I'm Steph.
And welcome to episode 2 of Pickles and Pasta with Steph and Jay. We kind of talked about it a little bit on the last podcast of like kind of figuring out what our groove is going to be. And I think what we think is going to be the best for us and hopefully will be helpful and entertaining to you guys is throwing out a list of things that are kind of happening in the universe, that are happening in our universes, that are affecting us throughout the week or the days. And without it necessarily being specific to one thing, but just they're happening. So whether we're doing something or we're going someplace, it's somehow in our mind or it's affecting our decision making or our creativity and all those different things. So I wanted to throw out the few things that there have been, and then we're going to chat a little bit about what they are. This week and we're wrapping up right now, the Tribeca Festival, which used to be called Tribeca Film Festival, which came right after New York Tech Week with another AI conference that was going on at the same time, and tons and tons and tons of other things that are going in the city all at the same time. That's something that's definitely there. So I'm just going to kind of put off the list, and then we'll kind of maybe go back to them. So that's one big thing, and it's actually come up in multiple conversations about how there's so much going on at the same time, while there's something going on that we should be all focused and concentrating on. The other thing that's going on, which is two things into one, which I think are kind of somewhat connected without being connected, is the Trump-Musk breakup, which we all predicted, and I actually predicted it exactly at this time. So I really should have placed a bet in Vegas on this one, and the LA riots, and how there is a little bit of a correlation there because it seems like they've gotten back together since that. I just can't even, whatever. But it's certainly real, and it's certainly something that comes up every day, and so it obviously is affecting us in different ways. The really weird weather is becoming conversations with a lot of different people I speak to, and I speak to people all over the world. My daughter's in Alaska at the moment, and I speak to people in Europe and South America and throughout the United States, whatever. And it's the fact that the weather is not what we're used to it being, and it's very weird inconsistency to it. Forget about what you think about, climate change. There's something, it's definitely different. It's really, really, it's right now, today, I think it's going to be like the high 80s in New York. I think tomorrow, Saturday, it's going to be in the 60s, like in the middle of June. Like and then it rains. It's just weird. It's just weird. So it somehow comes up, and I think that does affect us. And then, I don't know, Steph, if you want to take the other one, if you want me to just say it out loud, but one of Steph's daughters broke up with her boyfriend, which is real. Like it's a real thing. And I don't want to get too into that because I don't want to make her feel uncomfortable. I don't want to embarrass her. It's not that at all. We're actually all very proud of her for how she's handling it. But the point is not, as it is with any of these things, it's not the thing when we're talking about these things. There's something, and how is that affecting us? I think that's the important part. So maybe let's lead with that one, just because I think it's interesting. And Steph, you could give a little context to that, like, because as a mom, like how that affects you in other things that you're doing or other conversations that you're having.
Well, like we've all had experienced breakups. If you're lucky, you have experienced a breakup. And I have experienced many breakups in my life. And I'm really proud of my daughter for choosing herself in a situation where I think a lot of people in life, when they're in an uncomfortable place in a personal relationship, whether it's a friend or it's a personal, intimate relationship, or even a breakup in a professional situation. Let's just talk about, breakups in general. Doing it for the right reasons, the healthy reasons, is something I think we all can aspire to, doing that in the right way. And yes, this is Gabrielle's first, major breakup. And I think she did it with a lot of grace and love, believe it or not. And how it's kind of affecting she and I is just that for me as a mother to a 26-year-old daughter, I'm trying to promote her independence. I'm trying not to tell her what to do. I know as a parent, I don't want to mimic certain things that I experienced in my own relationship with my own mother. So I'm trying to take a different approach around this. And I'm just trying to be there to support her and her independence in this decision. And, whether you're the person breaking up with someone or you're being broken up with, it's hard either way. And it's definitely something that takes time to heal. And so I'm just trying to be there for her, to lend her support, but not to have her cry on my shoulder. I mean, of course, if she wants to do that, she can, but I'm trying to like uplift her and you know help her to move forward.
How do you think that's affecting you, though? Like, I mean, I know obviously we talked about it, and how do you think that's affecting you with like some of the work that you're doing? Like, is it affecting you when you're painting, or you? I mean, it's obviously on your mind, like how she's doing. Like,
Well, yeah, I mean, with the way I paint, everything that is important to me, every interaction affects me,
right?
and right now, like, obviously I'm thinking about my next series, and right now I've also decided to do this thing where I'm doing a painting a day, and those paintings that I'm doing right now are very quick paintings, and they're based on feelings and emotions. So some of those emotions of me, maybe I'm feeling sad one moment for her and for that experience, and maybe going back to a memory that I've held, that is an experience of sadness of a breakup. And so maybe I'm channeling some of those emotions into my art, which is definitely what I do with my art. So I'm thinking about that stuff. And while I my kids are independent and they're adults, and they're mid to late 20s, they're still kind of getting their feet wet with real adulting. And so I'm very conscious of that. And I want to be there, but I don't want to be in it. I want them to know I'm there without me being in every conversation, in every plan that she makes. But I'm very conscious of it. And that's just how I parent as a mom.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's interesting. Like when there's people that we care about and they go through stuff, it affects us. And as creatives, I think it's just impossible for it not to come into play. Like you if you see another couple, you might just think that, like watching it on TV, or if you see friends that and you're like thinking about like what your daughter's going through when you maybe see somebody. You could be even on the train, right? Like you see somebody having a disagreement on a train, you're naturally gonna think about that because it's like top of mind for you. So
Well, yeah, and obviously what you, Jay, do and what I do, we're both storytellers, but just through different medium. Maybe you're doing it through your marketing and all the stuff you do with Effluence and the things that you want to do with Village. I'm basically storytelling also with my brand, Have Some Fun Today. And I'm talking to people who have active lives, who want to be inspired, and, these experiences give me that empathy, that awareness that I need to really appeal to people going through all sorts of experiences in life. And how, with my brand, I'm trying to inspire people or make someone feel happy, or, you know, um, get excited about having fun and like what the future could hold. With my art, I'm basically trying to tell a story of emotion and invoking emotion. So I think that because we're both people who really love to be part of culture, and if I'm in a subway or walking down the street or at a restaurant, or any kind of, or at an art gallery or an art opening, I'm noticing interactions. I'm noticing interactions with me. And all of that is information that informs the work I do.
yeah, no, that makes sense. I think people that um, aren't fully immersed in the creative worlds, I don't think they understand. You hear people ask artists, whether it's filmmakers or musicians or painters, or they're like, well, how did you get that? Like, what was your inspiration for that? And you're like, life, like just every day, like just as an artist, I think, or creative, you see things that people don't see. You feel things that people don't feel. And I think that's where, when the world is doing all the things that the world is doing, it affects you, and it affects where you are. And it doesn't necessarily mean just because, let's say, if the world is in a dark place, that if you're a painter, everything is black, and if you're a filmmaker, you're shifting to horror. Like, it doesn't mean that, but it somehow is in there. Sometimes it's your creativity, or the output of your creativity is the opposite, because you're looking to change it. Like, as an artist, you want to do something different. Sometimes you lean into it, like, because you're like, I have to process this, and I have to share this vision the way I'm seeing this thing. So it's interesting. So, I think that's why it's important to kind of have these kind of conversations with people. So, okay, well, that's good. I mean, I'm glad you were able to share that, and I, obviously, we talk about it, pretty regularly. So, on the other ones that we have, that kind of, I think, been affecting us. I mean, the weather is real. Like, there's not much you can do about it. But it's something I always tell people, like, about living in New York. And one of the many things that I love about here is that we actually have multiple seasons. I mean, we used to technically have real four. Now, I mean, they're kind of a little jumbled together. But I think there's a lot to that in living in a climate. New York's not the only place, but best place that has multiple seasons, and how different that makes you than people that live in, places that have one climate. Basically, like Florida, it's hot or
Yeah.
hotter. Vegas, it's,
Yeah. Mhm.
a microwave oven or an actual oven. Like, it's just whatever. So it's very different because of your adjustment. But in that, we kind of go through the year interestingly, and I joke about it, about, when it's the middle of winter, you're like, oh, I can't wait for it to be summer. And then when it's summer, you're like, oh my God, it's so hot, I can't wait for it to be winter. Like, it's just incredible how humans do this year after year after year after year, do the same thing. Why I think it's more interesting now is because it's all over the place. Like, it isn't like, okay, old thing that, April showers bring May flowers, like that old thing, which that's out the door. Like, we didn't get any rain in April, like nothing. It was dry, and then May was rainy, and then it was like, okay, we're good with the rain, and then it's beautiful, and like, nope, fuck that, it's gonna rain for 3 days now.
And
So
then it's going to be 58 degrees, and then it'll be up to 80.
yeah, and it's just like, it's so bizarre. I mean, luckily we're not going back down to like the 40s and the 30s. Like, that would be really, really, really cuckoo. But it is bizarre to be thinking about, in really, I mean, we're going to be towards the middle end of June, and to have 60-degree weather, like 63, 65-degree weather. I think that's just bizarre. And I think, you know, so I'm not going to get into if it's climate, change and all that kind of stuff. Like, forget what some people think it's real. Some people don't. I'm not going to get into that thing at all. I heard this a while ago, which I think is really very relevant, and that is that we live on this sphere, okay, this big round thing that's doing what it's doing, and we touch it literally, like we step on it, we take things from it, we put things into it, we breathe into it, and it's picking up everything from us, like all of it. So it makes sense when the world is in a tense place that the weather is going to be all fucked up. Like, it kind of makes sense, and vice versa, right? So, like, what is causing what? Are we, if we calm down as a world? I know, but just for a second, okay? If we all just like calmed down and didn't want to fight and didn't want to kill each other and didn't want to take from each other, and making a million or a billion or $1 trillion wasn't the only thing that drives you, and blah blah blah, and just we're kind of like, I'm going to enjoy things and I'm going to be happy with people and I'm be grateful and happy. Would the weather and all these other things kind of calm down? Like, do we have that within our power? And that's very out there for a
That's a
lot of
very
people.
existential question.
Yeah. But, when you see the weather and you see how crazy the world is right now, it kind of makes sense.
Is the weather mirroring the energy of the planet?
Yeah. I mean, it would seem that way, right? Like it would appear that that's what's happening. And if that is the case and enough of us can kind of wrap our heads around it, you know, then all the stuff that all these, consultants and advisors and marketing experts that are on LinkedIn and Tickety Talk and everything else are telling us exactly how we should live, like there's maybe some truth to it, right? Like maybe there is a little bit to, yeah, let's take that. I mean, I think it's important to be grateful for whatever you have, and I think everything is a gift, and every day is a gift, and so that being said, I get pissed off too. Like I get frustrated too, and I'm trying to do more too. I want to do more too. So, but I don't know. I think it's important to be conscious of these things. I think to not just be like, oh yeah, 60 degrees. Oh, it's June. Yeah, okay, whatever. I think it's important to think about it, at least, and however you process it, whatever that means to you, that's fine. But I don't know, I still think being a weatherman is the greatest job in the world. Like if you had a shit ton of money, they're wrong all the time. Like it's unbelievable. Like there's no job in the world. There's no single job in the world. I mean, go to a
Yeah.
deli and order a roast beef sandwich, and he gives you a tomato, and or a piece of or a shoe. I mean, he's fired. Like he's fired. Like there's no way he's keeping that job or she's keeping that job. But it's gonna be sunny today. Oh shit! I meant rain.
Yeah.
Where's my check? Yeah. So anyway,
All true.
sorry.
I said all true.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I hear you want to talk about my vibrational platform that I
Oh
just
yeah.
got in the mail.
Yeah. So I don't know if we talked about this before, but just a little kind of so like I'm born and raised Jewish New Yorker. Steph's born and raised in Pennsylvania. We have a place there. That's where she's from, where we live right next to her mom. And then and we're in the city, which is where we really want to be most of the time. But it's important to keep the balance and to be near her mom. And Steph is a Pennsylvania resident. But sometimes I have to come back. We usually go together because we do most things together, which is amazing. But sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes she has to do something there, and I can take as much of Pennsylvania as I just can't. At some point, I can't. And sometimes I just have shit to do in New York, and that's what it is. So I had an event that I had to go to, and Steph had something she had to do with it. So I came back by myself, which is cool and fine, no problem. I miss her, but it's fine. Like it's a couple of days, I'm okay. I cried a little bit, but that doesn't matter. So I got back, and there were some packages, and but I didn't know what was what, whatever. So I go to the room to get the packages, and the guy takes out this box that is like a big box, and I'm like that's not for us. And he's like, "Oh yeah, no, Jay, this is for you." And I was like, "No, no, that's not possible. Like, what is this? I don't know who would order something." And he's like, "No, it's for you." And he shows me, and he shows me the label. It's like, I'm like, what the hell is this thing? It's like, oh, and they had the whole thing on the outside of the box. What it is? It's this vibrating contraption that you stand on or sit on, and it vibrates, and it's apparently good for you. And it was heavy. I mean, I'm not like a weakling, but it was heavy. He was like,
Yes,
I'm
it's
not,
pretty
don't
heavy.
carry this. We're going to
Yeah.
send it up like in the box and the thing, and it's cumbersome, whatever. So, I mean, the guy was super excited. He's like, oh, I'm really curious how this works. And I was like, I don't even know what to say right now. And I was like, thinking about also if it vibrates and if it makes noise, and I don't want to bother the neighbors, whatever. And so that I mentioned, she's like, oh yeah. She's like, I forgot to mention. She's like, but I mean, she's like, I don't tell you everything I order. And I was like, clearly, I mean, clearly. So I don't know if that was like a setup or if she was hoping that it was going to come when she was here and I kind of wouldn't notice. But yeah, yeah. So we did get it up here, and I mean, it's lovely watching her on it vibrating. Like it's like it's watching it. It's fun for me. But yeah, so we have this new vibrating thing, which by the way does not make any noise whatsoever, and it's very well constructed, and it's got these like has like these rubber feet, and it's a little bit raised off of it. So I mean, the physics behind it, it was very well designed. Speaking as someone who knows how to design things, it was very well done. So the vibrating is really absorbed in the device, and then in the rubber little feet that it has, which supposedly is really good for circulation. I guess I probably should try it at some point, but in the shape I'm in right now, I'll probably fall right off of it, or go spinning around
Oh,
the house, and God knows what would happen then. But yeah, apparently it's very good for your circulation. I don't know, Steph. Maybe you can speak
which
to.
is part of my whole health journey right now because this week I went to my first Brazilian lymphatic massage specialist, and that
Say
is
that
all
three
part
times
of.
fast, kids.
I know, I know. And it's not the same thing for anyone who's interested in this. It's not the same thing as a regular lymphatic massage. It's very different. This type of massage is for people who want to improve their circulation, number one. And it's really good for moving the lymph throughout your body. And it actually helps to tone your body and to get rid of water that's accumulating that you're retaining. And then the other thing that I tried for the first time was to get acupuncture for my nasal congestion, a condition that I've always clearing my throat. It literally drives me crazy. And it just,
I can attest to that. It absolutely drives her.
yeah,
But she
it does.
refuses to see an ENT because she thinks that doesn't make any sense. And Steph and I have talked about this. Like, if we could find a really good homeopath, I would prefer that over any sort of regular doctor any day of the week. Unless, of course, there's certain times where you just absolutely you have to go to certain things. And, I'm not going to have, I don't want to jinx myself with it, but I'm not going to have some major thing done by a homeopath. But as
Right.
far as
Yeah.
dealing things with circulation and congestion and aches and overall health and skin and everything else, I think homeopathy is a great thing. And I'm a big fan of it. But I also have had personally great success. And when I traveled before extensively, and I was on and off planes, and I was getting sick all the time, and an ENT really saved me. Like, I was literally getting sick every month. Um,
Yeah.
and I saw an ENT, and he figured out what was wrong, and my ears get clogged also from the flying up and down and the pressure. And I saw him pretty regularly for a long time, and he really did. I mean, he really saved me. He really was able to figure out what was wrong, which nobody else could. My regular doctor couldn't, and it was great. But I get why Seth doesn't want to just go to doctor and doctor and doctor. I totally get it. So personally, I'm not an acupuncture person. I don't like needles. I just don't like them. Like, I don't faint. I don't
Hmm.
anything like that. Like, I don't. It's not that. I'm waiting for Star Trek time.
Well, I'm very grateful for Chat GPT because, when you go to look around for stuff like this, it can be very hard to navigate, finding the right person. So I have to say, both places I went to this week, which was the lymphatic drainage, place in Chelsea, and also the acupuncture clinic in Chelsea. Also, they were both like great. I'm going back. I'm really happy with both places.
You said you signed up, right, for multiple things
Yeah,
with
I
both.
got packages in both, so I'm gonna, kind of see how it goes.
Assuming these work out okay, and Steph is healthier or better, then we'll gladly share who these places are that she's going to. But for the time
Of
being,
course, I'd love to.
yeah, let's hold off on giving any sort of recommendations until we
Oh,
kind
I
of have
know,
some sort of
but
data around
so
it.
far so good. So far so good.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's
So
a bummer when you go to a place and you're excited, and then you show up and it's not not a nice place. So far, I'm very very happy with both places.
so yeah, so I just we'll wrap up this health stuff for a second, but I know I have to go to that stretch place. There's a new stretch place that opened up near us
Yeah. Hmm.
that's supposed to be really very, very, very cool and very professional, and that's what they do. They're professional stretchers. I mean it's unbelievable. Like you got to really think about time capsuling shit and like what if previous generations would come back now and look at some of the stuff that we do and just like stuff that we're doing now, think out three, four, five generations, actual generations, not these micro generations that we have now, like
Yeah.
80 years from now, 100 years from now, and they're going to be like laughing at some of the stuff that we do now. I kind of find it hilarious. But apparently, this thing is supposed to be really, really good, and it can help you with circulation and all that stuff and aches and pains like that. So I want to kind of give that a shot and see how that is. So I'm hopefully going to try that sometime before the end of the century. So I think we've mentioned this. Like, we're not a politics show, but we're not gonna shy away from things when they're important and they need to be discussed. They should be discussed. And I'm not gonna get into too much of this, but I think it's something we all do have to think about, and I think it's affecting us. I mean, there's no question that what's going on in LA is um, it's scary. I mean, it's scary for a lot of people. I mean, I'm checking in on friends of mine that are there, every day. Luckily, most of the people that I know are not directly in some of the areas where the protests are going on. For now, I think when these things get out of control, they tend to really get out of control, and they go way beyond the places where things are happening. And I think my point is that I think it is affecting us. I think it's making people think about things that maybe they weren't thinking about, they didn't want to think about. I've always said nothing to do with any particular president or party, whatever, that we are a country of immigrants, and if we want to say anything other than that, then we don't know anything about anything, because we are, like, that's just a reality. Everybody that lives here, for the not everybody, because there are people that were native to this land for centuries, but for the most part, we're not from here. So we came here, not us personally. I mean, we were both born here. Luckily, we were grateful, and that's a great thing. Clearly, you can shit on America all you want, but being an American citizen has its perks, and I know that. I know that from people that I know. I mean, and we have an amazingly wonderful, fantastic intern, Kavya, that just started with us this week, and she's a rock star, and she's amazing, and she's here on a visa. I mean, she came to go to school, and she's learning, and these are real things. Like, it's real. Like, it's real. I mean, her day to day is different than my day to day, but she's amazing and an incredible asset to a country like ours, and that's the beauty of this country, and that's the foundation of this country. So at the same time, there are really bad people here, that also are immigrants. There's bad people here that have been here for centuries, for generations, and you know, I know many people I know that would be like, well, can't we keep can't we keep the good?
Yeah. Right.
Can we get rid of the shitty Americans? Like what?
Yeah.
Why can't we work this thing out? Like, why does that have to be an immigration related issue? So, but then again, what's the right way to do it? And I think that's where we're all kind of having this little. These are the difficult conversations that people kind of doesn't necessarily know how to have. And I think we have to just be with everything. I think we have to lead with empathy, and we have to think about this affects people, like, and it's really real. And I think I hope things get under control. I think the violence is not cool in general. I think peaceful protest is our right as citizens. I think it is peaceful protest. Like, violence and seeing like police cars being lit on fire and stuff. I don't know what that's solving. Like, I don't know what that's solving. I really don't. And yeah, it does affect you as you go through your day. It does affect you when you walk down the street, when you see people, when you hear things. It affects you. And I think when you think about, like, oh, I have to work on this project right now, or oh, I have to think about an idea for a film or a video, or whatever we're working on, or whatever, it's somewhere playing in my brain about like someone who is having a really hard time.
I mean, it is a bit anxiety producing when you open up your news feed wherever you get it, and you see stories about that. Now, obviously, it depends on where you're getting your information. Um, I don't know how certain news organizations are sharing that information. I'm sure very different from each other.
Yeah.
But I know for me, I see both sides of it. And I mean, I see the news on both sides of it. I, hold my own opinion. And I think that for me, it produces anxiety.
Yeah.
And it does make me a little worried. And I do try to, kind of stuff those emotions down because it's hard to function in a creative level when you are scared.
Yeah. Do you find that it just kind of cripples you to a point? Like you're like, I'm just
Yeah,
too, and yeah,
sometimes it does. Yeah.
yeah. And what do you? I mean, I know the answer to this, but for those who don't, like, what do you do? Like when you're in that place where you've got this like anxiety about what's going on in the world and it's freaking you out a little bit. Like, what's your process?
Well, right now, I feel like my process is, sitting with it, like getting off of whatever I'm seeing that is causing, the problem, so that I'm not diving deeper. Some people go deeper. I shut it down. And then I try to do things that make me feel better. And, one of the things that I've been doing is really looking at history and knowing that many times in the course of our country alone, we have been in like crazy places, with how culture has been perceived. I remember in the 50s when, the McCarthy era, that there were, political witch hunts going on then, and people were being accused of things that they weren't doing. And I don't think that there was a lot of dialogue around reason or empathy. I think it was like this witch hunt. So I think about these different times in our world and that they have passed. They've come, we've experienced them, and then they've passed. So I just think that I'm hopeful that this won't last forever, that some people will come to their senses and the country as a whole can see more how we're alike than more what divides us. And so I'm kind of like looking at history to help me feel better, believe it or not.
Yeah, that's such a yeah. I mean, I say it all the time, like it could be worse, and and Bill Gates said that no matter all the things that we've got going on, and it's horrible, and we definitely can do better to make the world better. He's like, you can just point your finger to any specific place in history that you want, and you can look at all the things that are so much better now than they ever were. Like there's just things that are just reality, and we complain about them because that's human nature, but there's a lot of, and there's been comedians that have done a much better job than I'm going to do on saying that, but there is something to be said for that, and I think it's a tricky thing, like because you can go and say, well, we got through it before, we'll get through it again, but until you don't. So there's that people that say that, like, well, you did until you don't. So, and I just keep praying and doing whatever I can do to get us to a place of like, but it doesn't have to get worse before it gets better. Like that just seems to be the pattern we do. Like it gets worse before it gets better. Like as opposed to why do we have to let it get to worse? Like why can't it be what it is now and let's just go straight to better? Like the getting worse before it gets better part, I think we could do without. I mean, so
I hear you. I really do. But, we can't control people. And the best that anyone can do is to be responsible for what we put out into the world.
yeah, no, fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, we can skip over the Trump Musk breakup. And I think it's hilarious. I think it was obvious it was coming, and again, I think it's something that is topic of conversation. So I don't know that necessarily affects our day to day that much, except for it's nice, it's comedic more than is anything else. But I think the Tribeca being in town is a big deal, and I think it's interesting. Like they moved the festival to this time of year. It was earlier before, and they moved it to this time of year, and they've kept it here, and it's cool. I mean, definitely cool, and I think they do a great job with the festival. I mean, it's not perfect. I think there's things that could be better, and I would love to be part of that process with them at some point and see how I or we can add value to maybe help make it better in some capacity, which would be amazing. And I'm a big fan, and of Jane's and Bobby's, and I just think it's really cool, and it's a great thing for New York, and for those of you who don't know how it started, and after 9/11, and a way to kind of bring the city back and get people to come back downtown, which people were not doing because it was scary. And interestingly, I mean, it's amazing to me how many people don't know what Tribeca actually stands for, which is the triangle below canal. I think it's cool. I think it's great. I think the downside is that there's a ton of stuff going on this time of year, and it is really
Mhm.
tricky. I'm not a FOMO kind of guy. Like, it's not my thing. I don't care. I've been to tons of really cool things. I've met some really, really cool people. Whatever. I don't care. And yes, even throughout the festival, there were things that I'm like, shit, I really wish I would have gone to that one. And I can't believe I missed that one or whatever. But that's it. That's 2 seconds, and I move on. But it is tricky when there's this much stuff going on. And I find that something that happens in other parts of the world too, but really in New York, it's a beautiful time of the year right now, even with the going from 60 to 90, whatever, it's still nice. You can go outside. It's a beautiful day today. I mean, there's things you can do, but it is tricky when there's all these things going on. And then when you get something like a Tribeca, where people are coming in from all over the world, it changes the dynamic again, because now you naturally want to engage with people that are not from here, because that's interesting. You can learn, and maybe there's collaborative opportunities, or just learning different cultures or different whatever. But it's interesting. I mean, it's an interesting time. I mean, I know you've come to a couple of panels with me. Are you enjoying it this year, or what's your sense?
Yeah, no, I think that I've been enjoying it. I enjoyed it last year, going to the panel discussions and talks and doing some of the cocktail networking afterwards. I mean, I've definitely met some really interesting people. And as a creator, we all have a lot in common as creators. I mean, maybe the medium that I work through is very different than people who make films and documentaries, but we're all kind of taking in storytelling. We want to tell stories. And so learning how different people tell stories through some of the talks that I've been to is very interesting to me. And it kind of gets and that's how my process is. I like listen to things, I see things, and then they kind of go into this computer in my head, and they marinate. And so I've just been taking in so much over the past week, some of the people we met and some of the conversations we've all had together. It's just all been a lot of food for thought, but a lot of food for thought.
Yeah, it can be a little overwhelming. I mean, I've been to a few more panels than you have,
Mhm.
because they're much more, a little more relevant to just the stuff that we're working on between Village and Effluence. And I mean, look, I've talked to a lot of people about this. I mean, a lot of times you go to these conferences and it's the same stuff. You do hear and you learn new things sometimes on these panels. But if you've been in the industry, if you're really around an industry and you're really in the thick of it, you're not really going to hear anything riveting or like, oh, wow, that's revolution. Oh my God, we're going to use cameras now to make films. Like, it's not like something I never, like that. But one of the things I like particularly about this and in a film festival, as opposed to like a tech conference that I've been to and other conferences I've been to, the different people that are there is very interesting. So you have people that are really, really, really green, like this is their first festival, or they've been in the business for like a year or two, or a short amount of time, and all ages. Like, I saw people this year at the festival that, I don't know, were in their 50s, and they're asking questions like that a college kid is asking. Like, they don't know, they've had another career or whatever, and this is their, like, they literally don't know, like, how do I do a pitch deck? Like, what should, I mean, I was at one yesterday and it was like, well, what should be in my pitch deck? And like, do I have to have the script ready? Does my script have to be ready before I start talking to investors? Or when do I think about, putting my crew together? Like, really, really, really early questions in the game. And so you see like the excitement from them, and then you see people that have been doing it, and they know what to do. They go to talk to, and they do it. So it's an interesting thing to see that, and it's interesting how depending on who you talk to, you get a incredibly totally different opinion about the state of the industry. Like you have some people that are like, this is the greatest time ever, and it's cutting edge, and AI is going to make things this and that. And the other people are like, oh my god, I'm going to lose my job. Like it's over. Like we're never theatrical. This isn't coming back. That's how. And so it's very interesting to see all that. And it's, I mean, for me, it's exciting in many ways, and I like meeting new people. And I mean, everybody that's at this conference is a future member of Village. So of course, it's cool to see that and see them and see what they're thinking
Yeah.
because it's good. It's good
And
knowledge. It's good. It's good to learn.
everyone seemed pretty excited about what you're going to build.
Yeah, it's always cool. It's cool. I mean, one girl we met who was very very nice, and I got this new. I don't like paper. As for anybody who doesn't know me, I can't stand it. I just can't stand it. I just no, and I don't like business cards. Kind of in a way for a similar reason, because you get the card and you're like, who the hell is this? And they lose the card and you don't know what's this. It's just kind of complicated. And so I've been looking for like a better system, and I haven't found one. And I started using one like a digital business card, which I still think is not right. And I have this weird feeling that at some point we're going to have to build our own because every one of them now out there seems very similar. But anyway, so I started using it. Kind of seems to be the story of my life. But I started using it, and it is pretty cool. And so there's one girl who came up to us, and we were going to exchange. And so it's basically a QR code on my phone, and she has to take a picture of it. And as soon as she goes to take the picture, her phone dies. So we're both like, now what the fuck do we do? Like, it's nothing to do. So lucky for both of us, she actually had a business card. So I took her business card and I connected with her. But we did talk to her for, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes roughly. And we got along very well. She was very nice. I can't remember if she was born here or not, but she's Polish. Her dad was, I think, born in Poland. He's an artist from Pennsylvania. Like we really connected. My dad was born in Poland. We definitely connected. I explained to her what Village was in a very short version, but I went through it. She's like, oh, that's cool, like, or whatever. So then I got her information. I connected with her. I sent her a message. And she's like, I definitely want to get together because I really still have no idea what it is you're doing. And I was like, oh, great. And so then I sent her something, which is kind of a little elevator pitch we do. She's like, cool. I'm still not there. So she's like, I really want to learn, and I really want to be part of it, but I still. So it's just it was interesting for me on a lot of levels of like, she's definitely target audience for sure. She of course will be part of the platform for sure. But it's interesting how sometimes you really don't know. Like people are like, oh wow, it's so amazing, it's so cool, and you don't necessarily know if they really get it, or if it's
Yeah.
small talk, or if it's when they walk away and they think about it, they maybe have more questions, which is fine. But those are all different sort of things. So yeah, I think again, like, as far as like part of this whole part of our cast or podcast, whatever thing is called, is our kind of explaining things that affect our days. And there's no question this has affected our week because
Yeah.
I go there, I come back and I think about it. And then, but I have, life goes on. Like, I mean, we have our businesses that we have to run, and we have people we have to talk to, and things we have to do. And so it's interesting when these things happen. And for those of you who have ever been to a festival or a conference in your home city, it is an entirely different experience than when you go someplace for it. Like entirely. Like there is no comparison. I mean, I experienced this a little bit when I was in the tennis business with the US Open, but differently because the US Open was so big and I was primarily in the tennis world and not, I was in hospitality and nightlife too, but not, and it connected. So it was okay that I was like not available for that time because it's such a big thing when the US Open goes down. This is different. And there have been other conferences in New York, like tech conferences and business conferences, and people don't totally get it. Like you're like, yeah, I'm not available those 2 days. Or like they're like, oh, but you can do a call, right? Or like we can have a coffee, right? Or like, oh, can you get back to me on that thing, right? And I'm like, well, yes, but then I can't do that. Like it's just it's
Yeah.
interesting how whereas when you go someplace, people are like, oh, you're away, and they get it, and you get it too because you just like
And you're there just to do that thing. But this is like us doing our normal life plus going to all these things.
yeah. It was like yesterday. Like I was gonna stay, and you were gonna come meet me, and I was like, no, I'm gonna come back, home to go grab a bite to eat. I didn't want to stay there, like, and I could do that because it's pretty close. So anyway, I guess it's time for rapid fire.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Well, shall I ask you first?
No, ladies first. Plus, I have no idea what my answers are going to be. So, but I don't even know what I don't even know what the questions are. So first, so wait, how are we doing this? We're going question, question, question. So I'm going to ask you three questions, and you're going to ask me the same.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What's a film, doc, or series that changed how you see the world?
It Ends With Us. I'm going really fast. Like that was the first thing that came to mind.
Okay, that's pretty rapid. If you could have dinner with any current public figure, I don't understand this question. If you could have dinner with any public figure, dead or alive, who would you choose and why?
Diane von Furstenberg.
She's alive.
And the why is because she's a creative businesswoman, one of the first of her kind back in the 70s to create an iconic fashion item, the wrap dress. And since then, she just has never stopped. And I just admire her courage and her zest for life. And no matter how, up there in years that she gets, she still like projects strength and feeling confident in herself. And she posts on Instagram and I just like think she would be so interesting to talk to. So that's that person.
Okay. Does cancel culture help or hurt storytelling?
I think it hurts it.
Okay.
I think it hurts it.
Okay.
You want me to elaborate?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. There wasn't an add why. I'm reading
No,
from this.
I know there wasn't, but
I've never seen these questions before, so I had nothing to do with their creation or
okay.
anything. So I'm just following. I'm just doing what I'm told, which is so
Okay.
part of my.
I know. So, all right. So back at you, Jay. You ready to answer the questions?
Ready as I'll ever be.
All right. So, name a film that changed your perspective of the world.
Matrix.
What public figure would you love to have dinner with?
I can only pick one.
Yes.
I'm gonna go with Einstein.
Oh.
Not necessarily. There's a list of ones. There's a few of them. I'm gonna go with Einstein because of the hair.
I thought you were going to pick Bill Gates, but tell us why Einstein.
No, Gates is on that. Gates is on that list, and there's a few others that are on the list, which I'm not going to.
Yeah.
I'm not going to share right now. Einstein. I mean, when he was a genius, and nobody really understood the level of his genius. He lived with a lot of different emotions at the same time. Like he saw things in a way that I kind of relate to. Like he just sees it. Like he just sees it, and it's so simple. And to him, and he had this like weird charm to him. Like he just doesn't give a fuck. And I kind of like I don't like give a fuck. I mean, everybody says like, oh, your hair and your what band are you in and whatever. And I'm like, I there's no thought that goes into this, like zero. So zero. So I totally get that part.
The book is all contrived, and
well, there's those famous pictures of him like where he's riding the bicycle and like he's so adorable and like it kind of I can see myself riding like a flying bicycle like him, but with my hair doing like I could just see that. Like I could see that. It'd be like, so how did you do that? So he could kind of help me kind of do whatever I have to do. Not that I'm by any means 1% of the genius that he is, but it'd just be fascinating to talk to a guy like that.
Yeah, I would love to
Plus, he's
be a fly
adorable.
on the wall. I'd love to be a fly on the wall for that
Oh,
conversation.
plus, yeah, but
And
plus he's
that's
adorable. Like he's just adorable. You just want to hug him.
does cancel culture help or hurt storytelling?
Hurt. I can
Okay, great.
explain that if I don't know it's not my supposed. I'm not supposed.
Yeah, why don't you explain it? Because I think that would be interesting just to share. Like,
I think that I think when something becomes a thing, like cancel culture has become a thing, it's it can be over nothing, and so that makes people gun shy to say anything. It makes people gun shy to do anything, or it gets people
like
in
right now
trouble
in the world.
in the world. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it just it that just it doesn't look. There's a lot of bad people in the world, but there's also a lot of amazing people in the world, and some of those really amazing people say some really stupid things sometimes, and they do some really stupid things sometimes. They just do. It's that's part of being. That's the good and the bad of being human. Like you're not a perfect creation. Like
Yeah.
you're going to do something. You could be a guy or a girl and you could slip up and cheat on your partner. Not because you're a bad person, because just shit happens sometimes. Does that mean you're supposed to be canceled and you can't do anything anymore? Some people say stupid things about a person or about a race or about a political item or whatever, you know, and now you're canceled. I mean, I'm going to I don't want to say even the name, but there was a really, really, really good politician that the world would really benefit from if this person was still an active politician in our country. Like he was really an amazing, good person that prior to him being a politician at some point said something or did something that was kind of stupid. And he didn't rape anybody. He didn't kill anybody. It was really nothing like, he wasn't convicted of anything, and he was one of the first people to be canceled, and he got canceled, and he was like, okay, and he apologized, whatever, and he's like done, and he doesn't come back, and he does different things, and he's still, but the average person today doesn't even know who he is, and he was amazing, and he wouldn't have been president. He wouldn't have been. I don't think he ever would have been president, but he would have been a hell of a congressman or senator or something, and we would have benefited from it. And and how I think that affects storytelling because it just makes people gun shy. It either makes
Yeah.
people go all out to be like, well, if I go all out, I'm going to be 10 times more popular. Like I'm going to be more
Yeah.
famous if I say this stupid shit that I don't even believe in. And then it gets other people to be like, I'm just going to go middle of the road.
Yeah.
And so now
Yeah.
it's safe. And now you're not taking chances. And when you don't take chances, that's the end of creativity. And I'm yeah, I'm going to stand strong against that always. Like
Yeah.
I don't think it's cool. So anyway, I think that is a wrap for today. Thank you if anybody is out there. We appreciate it. We're grateful, and hopefully we're helping in some way, or some of the stuff we say is at least a little bit entertaining. Um, and we will see you again soon. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.